The ATA new product premiere features all the latest premium cutting-edge archery technology about to be unleashed in 2022. Hear from industry professionals for some in-depth conversation on what goes into equipping today's modern bow hunter. Never-before-seen products will be revealed on ATA's new product premiere.
Starting off, Petersen's bow hunting editor Christian Berg takes an in-depth look at Hoyt's new lineup.
Hey everybody, it's Christian from Petersen's Bow Hunting, and I'm thrilled to be here with one of the real good guys of the bow hunting community and a heck of a bow hunter, Mr. Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector crew. Travis, thanks so much for being with me today.
Oh, Christian, thanks for having me on. Yeah, anything to talk about archery, I am super excited about.
Absolutely, man. I know you've been into the technical side of archery for a long time, and I know you're excited about the new line from Hoyt. You guys have been shooting Hoyts for a long time, many years now. You've seen the full evolution of their carbon bow line, and for 2022, they've got the Carbon RX7. And let me guess, Travis, this is the best carbon bow that Hoyt has ever made.
Yeah, the whole theme again this year is options, and with this carbon bow, it's a whole one piece that goes up to the limb pocket, so you don't have anything that is separated as far as a separate limb pocket. It goes all in one. Warm to the touch. We got a new grip that's incorporated there in the short stop stabilizer. So when you say warm to the touch, when it's in January, you can really relate to how cold it is outside right now. And, it certainly is nice to be able to grab a carbon bow and it not suck all the heat out of your body. So that's super nice, and it's real responsive, real lightweight, so that you can build it the way that you want to as far as weighting it. And everything that the words that we like to use are integrated and in line, so that everything is compact this way as far as mounting the rest on the back, the integrated rest, as well as the Picatinny rail on the front, so that you can mount the sight right in the front. You're not bulking weight on one side or the other. And there's just so many options so that any archer can build it the way that they would want to.
You know, as you were talking about that, T-Bone, I was thinking I've got a good buddy in Ohio who killed a giant 170-inch 8-pointer last night in the snow. It was negative temperatures, and he was telling me this morning, man, my hands are still stinging. He would have loved to have had one of those Hoyts in his hands last night, I imagine.
You know what we say in life, it's the little things. And, adding to the little things, this is the HBX Pro Cam, which is adjustable in 4 inches, as well as adjustable on your let off. You can change it from 80 to 85. So the versatility is there. You can get one bow and fit a variety of draw lengths. And it's nice to know that you're picking up something that you can fine tune to exactly your likings. One guy may like a heavy bow, another guy may like a super light bow, but you can always do that with the starting base model of a light bow. So the new RX7 is got me smiling.
I know it's an awesome bow, and there's so many advantages with that carbon. It's not just the warmth, it's the reduced noise, the reduced vibration. And I know that's not the only new bow that you're excited about from Hoyt this year.
This is the Ventum Pro 33. It's an aluminum riser bow, so it's going to save you a few pennies. It's very similar to the same innovations that's on the RX7, same HBX Pro cams, same limbs, a lot of the same nice features with the short stop stabilizer that's already included with the bow, and all the same features will work in the integration and the inline on this bow as well. This year, this is a 33-inch bow, whereas the RX7 Ultra is a 34-inch bow. So what that does is it provides you more options, so that the string pinch and the apex of the string can fit you. And we're really splitting hairs here, and we're really for the pro archer or whatever. When you're trying to get that perfect anchor point, now you have options as far as axle to axles and apex of strings. But performance-wise, you've got all the niceties and the innovations that Hoyt is known for right packed into this Ventum Pro 33. So this is going to be a popular bow as well.
No doubt about it. And I know that you and the rest of the guys have been probably out since last fall killing animals with this. You've probably already enjoyed some success. We all know, what a great job you do out in the field. So why don't we just wrap it up with that? People can get to their Hoyt dealers right now. You can shoot these for yourself. But Travis, what have you seen so far in your experience with these bows?
Yeah, just more of the same. You know, like I said at the beginning of the interview, I scratched my head at how many times they're going to re-innovate, but they're that much quieter. They're that much shock free. They are such a pleasure to shoot. And now with all the integrations in the inline, the options are endless. So a person can take one and customize it and build it to their own likings.
Well, a pleasure to shoot, and always a pleasure to have you as a guest, T-Bone. Mr. Travis T-Bone Turner, thanks so much for telling us about the 2022 lineup from Hoyt. I wish you guys the best of success out in the field this year.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
North American Whitetails publisher Leighton Force sits down with Tom Rainey from Browning Trail Cameras to look at what's new in their 2022 lineup.
Hey everybody, I'm Leighton Force with North American Whitetail. Today I'm here with a special guest from Browning Trail Cameras. I have Tom Rainey in the building with me. Tom, you're a man that needs no introduction.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment. I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to talking about what we have coming up in 2022.
We're excited to have you here because I don't know a guy that knows this line better than yourself, and you've really kind of worked with a group of people to build this up from the beginning, but this is a big year for Browning Trail Cameras.
It is indeed. This year we have 10 new cameras scheduled to come to market. 3 of those cameras will be cellular cameras. We have new extensions and new generations of all of our popular series that we've had throughout the years. So we're really looking forward to bringing these to market and seeing how people love them as much as we do.
Really, we're going to start with a product member of your family that needs no introduction, and that's the Strike Force family.
Yep. It's small, it's compact, it only requires 6 AA batteries. And in this particular model that we have here, the Strike Force Pro DCL, we have new Radiant 6 illumination technology, which will give you better nighttime imagery and videos, will extend the range out to 130 plus feet. So there's several things that new illumination technology are gonna bring to the table in terms of what you're able to see at night. But more importantly, we have continued to use that dual lens technology that we have. So it's like packaging 2 cameras in one. You've got one where the sensors and the lens are perfectly tuned for daytime imagery. When you start to get into lower light conditions, it transitions over into a second camera that has a separate sensor, separate lens to take those nighttime images and maximize that exposure.
That's a big deal because there's that transition time period in the lighting where you start to lose that quality of a photo. And a lot of times that blurry buck may be your biggest buck, you just don't even know it's him.
It's still got the nice battery life. You get about 15,000 images off 6 AA batteries. It's a compact camera, easy to set up, and you're not going to be disappointed. It's got a 1.5-inch viewing screen that allows you to aim the camera when you take it out and set it up.
So efficient, affordable, all kinds of technology.
All of the above.
Just maintaining the Strike Force family or series name.
Yep, correct.
Well, let's move into the next one. That's the Spec Ops. Again, no stranger to the Browning Trail Camera line.
So we're using the Radiant technology on these. This one will have 5 of those high-power LEDs in the camera to really give you nice nighttime imagery. This camera has historically been one of the, if not the best camera on the market for taking invisible flash images and video. Right. This particular model, the Elite HP5, has the full HD video and expanded into a 4K.
Yep.
So you've got some really nice video capabilities on this camera. You've got the HDR, which is gonna further enhance the nighttime imagery.
There you go.
So when you start getting into this one does take 8 AA batteries. So you're really gonna have some nice battery life, great nighttime images, and like I said, it could very well be the best nighttime invisible flash images on the market.
Well, that's important because everybody knows that the 180s, he actually likes to stay right on the ridge, that trail camera range. So
very much
you guys
so.
are helping us out there when it comes to that.
That's what we're trying to do.
Well, the next family or series that we're going to move into is in a category that has, it's just blown up over the last 3, 4, 5 years, and that's cell cameras.
That is correct. If you hear the word Defender with any of our cameras, that's going to kind of make you aware that that's one of our cellular cameras. This particular model that we're going to talk about here, we have 3 new ones, but this is the Defender Pro Scout Max. This particular camera is going to be super affordable. You'll be able to find it for about $149 at retail. It's going to still work on the same app that you've had access to over the last few years. You'll be able to upload HD imagery. You can look at the different plans, so there's different options for you in terms of how
manage,
many. All of it.
Yeah.
because I actually had somebody come up in the booth here in the last few days, ask me about being able to sort HD imagery, and I showed her how to do it. And so, like, once you download the best pictures that you really want to get a look at, if there's a good deer that's breaking daylight or something like that, you can actually sort your HD images and go look at just those in that one category. Everything that's new to market this year is going to be under $200.
Which is awesome. That's
so
awesome.
We're trying to make everything super affordable for people, but we also don't want to short circuit quality and effectiveness. So I think it's fair to say you'll never find us as the cheapest camera on the aisle. We're not going to be the most expensive, but I think most people that purchase our cameras will tell you they feel like they're getting a great value for that money that they spent. They spent an extra $20 here, extra $30 here, and they're super satisfied with the results.
Well, Tom, you've got a great product lineup coming to the marketplace this year. Man, I know we can't wait to use them at North American Whitetail. We're going to put them to the test. Now, if somebody is wanting more information on any of these new products or the whole lineup, all 10 cameras, where can they go?
Check out our website at www.browningtrailcameras.com.
Man, it seems like you know that very well.
I've said that once or twice before.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you. Good luck this year.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, Petersen's bowhunting editor Christian Berg gets an in-depth look at Bear Archery's new refined Echo bow.
I'm Christian Berg from Petersen's Bowhunting, and I'm here with Ryan Schutz from Bear Archery, and we are going to give you guys a close look at the new for 2022 flagship bow from Bear. This is the Refine Echo, and Ryan, I know that there's a lot of features and technologies that we're going to dive into, but I got to tell you, just when I look at this bow, the first thing that strikes me is just what a good looking rig this is. And I love this finish. This is a new olive. And I know you're excited about some of the finish options that you have to offer for 2022.
I sure appreciate it, yeah. So if you want it solid top to bottom camo, we got that. You want it to be a solid color like this with camo limbs, we got that. So we really wanted to make sure that we hit the look extremely hard, so at least you're looking good in the woods.
Well, absolutely, and I know that it's not gonna just look good, it's also gonna shoot really well because there's a lot of technology that you've packed in from top to bottom.
So I'm gonna start with our EKO cam, so the Echo cam. So what's so great about this particular cam is that you're able to set your let off to whatever you desire. So if you want 75, 80, 85, or 90, you're able to do this on this cam just yourself without a bow press, which is great. So you're able to adjust it to really fit whatever your need is. And then as you keep going on, we have our brand new in-limb dampening system, which is brand new to us, so we're really excited. We're really focused on vibration this year. As you keep going down, there's more vibration even, to the point of we did new dumbbells in the center of our riser, as well as we've done these discs out front on our riser. And as you continue down, you'll see we add another disc, actually right here as you're working on the string stop, and then as well as on the bottom. Another fun thing that we really did is we give you a little bit more palm swell than we did before, so that's a brand new grip. And then also we gave you a flat grip in the packaging, so you're able to really do whatever you want. What we want is to be able to give you a bow that you're able to adjust your let off, adjust how it feels, so it's what you like instead of what just I like.
A lot of customization there for each shooter, some impressive specs when it comes to speed as well.
Yeah, 33 inches axle to axle, 342 speed, which is really fast, and just over 6-inch brace height. So really a shootable bow.
Well, it's great to see that even after all these years, Bear Archery continues to innovate, continues to be on the cutting edge, and yet you're still honoring your heritage. I see you've got a little emblem on the back of your riser there, and that's kind of a neat nod to the past.
We think a pretty fun call out. So hopefully you take a good shot on whatever animal you're happen to be pursuing, and then it says the Fred Bear Way on the back. So we want archery to be available for everyone, just like Fred. So that's just our little homage there.
Yep, so I appreciate, everything you're doing, appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best. Yeah, take care now.
Bowhunter TV's host Kurt Wells gets a first look into a new brand launch with Lucas Johnson from Covert Optics.
I'm Kurt Wells from Bowhunter Magazine and TV, and today I have Lucas Johnson with me from Faradyne, but he's also now the brand manager of Covert Optics. But the name Covert is familiar to everybody, right?
Yep, and we wanted to build this line to have the same quality that you've come to expect from Covert cameras. Our biggest focus between both of our day optics and thermal was going to be optics for the archer. So high quality image clarity, as well as a compact design, but also a reliable optic.
Mm-hmm. And whitetails are a big focus, of course, for everybody, and that's the same with Covert's always been their focus is whitetails. So let's start off looking at what you got for binoculars.
Yep. So we have two different models of our binocular, an 8x42 and a 10x42. They both have our lightweight aluminum frame with a waterproof rubberized housing. We optimized contrast, color, and image clarity to give you the highest quality image in low light situations, whether that's hunting out of a ground blind, dusk or dawn when those deer are most active, you'll be able to identify that buck.
I think one of the keys to whitetail hunting is you got to see them at the very first point where they're possible to be seen so you can be prepared. And guys don't use binoculars enough. I want to be able to see that animal right away, focus on his antlers, see if he's something I want to take, and you can't do that without good glass. So I think it's way more important than a lot of whitetail hunters give it credit for. They think they're only going to use them out west, but that's not the case. So next you have a really cool thing called a thermal scanner, right?
Correct. This is our Thermex HS1 hand scanner under the Covert Optics brand. So it's a multi-purpose device. This can be used as a recovery tool, a hand scanner, as well as a weapons mountable sight with the programmable reticles. We have 4 different color palettes, a white hot, black hot, green, and multicolor, as well as brightness and contrast adjustments to adjust this in any light situation.
And they're designed to be looked at from a distance, not like a scope, right?
That's correct. As long as you can see the screen, you'll be able to see the heat signature out in front of it.
And that keeps you from blocking off one eye when you're trying to get around in the dark and stuff.
Yep.
This is amazing what you can look at and see different heat signatures, people, and their heads are hot. You know, you could just see a deer laying out in a field. If you hit a deer and you're looking for him and scanning in a large open field or something, you'd be able to tell. How much of a reach does it have?
So it'll detect much further than you'll be able to identify. For a weapon sight, it's going to be close range, but for detection, I mean, you can see 800-900 yards out in front of you.
Oh, so there you would just see like a hot blob, but you'd have to get closer to know what it was.
That's correct.
Correct. Yeah, that is awesome. I really think that's cool. So now you adapt that same technology to a rangefinder, correct?
Yes, sir. So this is our Thermex TRF. It's a thermal laser rangefinder. It's going to have the same color palettes and brightness adjustment as you see here in the scanner, but it also has the range finding capability. It's going to function just like any other laser rangefinder, but you're going to see it through a thermal image viewer.
And you still hold it out away from your eye.
That's correct. You still look at it out here. Reason being, this is also compatible to be used as a weapons-mounted sight for both vertical bow, crossbow, and any weapon with a Picatinny rail.
I see. And then it has a scan mode, so you hold it down and you can keep the range going no matter where you're aiming at it.
Yep, it has a continuous range. So let's say you have this mounted on a crossbow and a group of hogs is coming into your field, you'll be able to hold that button and figure out which one is in range, which one isn't.
That is awesome. I mean, it's kind of a new technology that's really taken off in the last few years is the thermal stuff, and you guys are really taking good advantage of it. So in summary, we have new binoculars, thermal scanner, thermal rangefinder, all from a trusted brand by the name of Covert. And we appreciate you coming down. Where can people find out more information?
You can go to our website, Faradyne.com, and also check your local retailer.
All right, thanks, Lucas.
Thank you.
Petersen's bow hunting editor Christian Berg talks with Trophy Ridge's product manager James Mogul about the new digital React 1 bow sight.
Hi, I'm Christian Berg with Petersen's Bow Hunting, and I'm here with James Mogul, product manager at Trophy Ridge, and you have a product here that has been one of the talk of the show. This is the React digital 1-pin sight, and this is like a single pin mover on steroids, man. This thing is cool. Yes. And you can dial into the exact yardage that you need.
Well, you can actually go to the half-yard mark if you want to. You can change the backlight colors. You can change the different brightnesses that's there. One other amazing feature is that you can do 5 different arrow profiles. So if you have heavier grained arrows, you can shoot different animals and it's all in one sight. And like with React technology, we love to be able to say 2 pins and done. You can also do 1 pin, put in your arrow speed, and be done as well. It's great technology, and it gives those archers that confidence to hit that target every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. And I know you've been working on this for a couple of years.
Yes.
And like those arrow profiles, that's so useful. They're stored in that site. And then
Yes.
depending on what arrow I'm shooting that day, just push a button, right?
Pick
and
your
switch from
profile
one to another.
and you're good to go. If I were to charge this up, set it on the counter, and leave it for 3 days, it's still charged and ready to go.
There's just something that comes from seeing that exact number on the screen that helps people feel good about knowing that when they get that pin on the animal
Yes.
or on the bullseye, that's where the arrow's going. Not just a little bit above it or a little bit below it, but right
on
there.
Yeah, I've had guys who used to shoot 5-pin sights that are excited about this because when they dial to 50, they know it's 50. If they dial to 27, they know it's 27, and they're just confident that every time they shoot, it's hitting the animal right where they want it to be.
Now, this is also available in a 3-pin version as well?
Yes, it is. So on the 3-pin version, it has 2 horizontal pins that you can micro adjust to 20 and 30, and then the pin at the bottom can start out at 40.
Do you have any idea what the sight weighs?
This sight weighs around 7 ounces. It's fairly light in comparison to a lot of the other sights out there in the market. It has a battery inside that's a lithium-ion battery, and we've done our best to minimize the size and the weight on that sight.
Gotcha. And these are available right now?
Yes, they are.
All right.
They
So
are.
check out Trophy Ridge website for more information and visit your local Trophy Ridge dealer if you want to get your hands on one of these new digital React sights. Thanks so much for giving us a look. It really is an exciting product, and I wish you, a lot of success with it this year, and I'm sure you'll be doing some hunting with that yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so good luck out
Thank
there.
you.
You got it.
Good seeing you.
Up next, Christian Berg sits down with Mark Hayes at Matthews to get an in-depth look at the V3 Expo.
Hey everybody, I'm Christian Berg, editor at Petersen's Bowhunting. Today I'm here with Mark Hayes. He's one of the designers at Matthews Archery. He's got a great new bow for 2022, the V3X. Mark, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. We like doing these videos with you every year. Appreciate the time.
Well, listen, with this V3X, you guys have taken the V3 from last year, kicked it up a notch with some new features on the bow and a whole line of accessories that blend seamlessly with it to make for a really great shooting system. Tell me about that.
The idea is that long, rigid riser, a riser that feels longer than the axle to axle, because that's where stability comes from, and short, wide, rigid limbs. That system works for us. This is a 29, we have a 33. In terms of riser length, this 29 is going to shoot more like a 32-inch bow traditionally. And the 33 has a riser as long as some of our target bows. The stability is built in from the foundation.
And then let's dive into these accessories, because I know there's 3 in particular that you guys are really excited about here as we head into the new year.
So we have a brand new technology called Bridge Lock sight technology. The sight goes through the middle of the riser with a standard dovetail, and it works on many different manufacturers. What that does is twofold. One, it gets all the weight to the center of the riser, and 2, it gets the housing closer to the mounting point. So all that extra vibration that if you get a thick riser, your housing's got to get so far over, you get a lot of additional vibration. So that was super important for us that this works for existing sites.
And I know that you've also got a brand new line of quivers, and you guys are calling these the Low Pro. Tell me about those.
So we have 2 new models this year. We have a fixed Low Pro and a detachable Low Pro. This is the fixed. It is as tight as the arrows could ever be, 56% tighter to the bow than our last offering. And there is no holds barred here. We want this as tight as possible, as light as possible. It's 6.4 ounces, lightest, tightest quiver that you can get. But we do know that people love to remove their quivers, and we wanted a really sleek design for that still used the low pro technology. This is the detachable quiver. This is super tight as well, as you can see from the video. And we've always had a detachable quiver, but traditionally that gets pretty far away from the bow and maybe has some vibration because of the arrow sticking way below. This has a really sleek mechanism, a lever right here at the bottom. You undo that, you take it off, and you're left with a really minimalistic mounting system on the bow, crazy light. This comes in a 5 arrow. Super easy to come on and off. It takes advantage, again, of that low pro technology.
Yeah, I had a chance to play with that already a little bit, and it really is. You know, you hit the nail on the head. It's slick, very minimal, great balance, lightweight, just all around an excellent, excellent quiver. And last but not least, I know you guys developed a product that's sort of a little insurance policy for bow hunters out in the field if they ever have any problems with their string or cables.
This is the SAS system. It comes in a waterproof pouch. There's a waterproof instruction card in there, and it's a 1/2 ounce orange cable. And it's a servicing cable to attach to spurs that we have on the cams, top and bottom here, that lets you work on your string or your cables in the field. You don't have to come off the mountain. You have a chance to fix and stay in the hunt. It's super important.
And so there you have it, the V3X, 3 new accessories, right? Your bridge lock technology, which you offer your own site and you can use others. You've got your low pro quivers, your SAS, and man, you guys have really put together a great system.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. We design it because we use it, and it's important that the quality of the bare bow gets breathed into the accessories.
Well, I know you're going to do well with it here as we head into the new year. Really appreciate you being with us today and sharing this information about the 2022 lineup.
For more information about the ATA, visit www.archerytrade.org.